AITA for telling my fiancé that my friend's trauma is more important than her comfort? My best friend lost a parent a year and a half ago, which led him to a mental health crisis. Our friend group has been picking up the pieces ever since. He's doing much better now that he's in therapy. But he's definitely gone through it. What has complicated matters worse is my fiancé. It goes without saying that I love her. But she is the definition of a busybody sometimes. My best friend is a very private person. She knows something happened with him. But she doesn't know the details of what that something is. She probably never will. But because she's around me and my friends often as we live in the same house, she hears bits and pieces of the story and presses for more information. I try to circumvent this as best as I can. For example, I step out of the room for specific phone conversations. But still, it's hard to limit the discussion about it sometimes. If it's necessary, we bring it up and she's around in person. We'll refer to the Nolan situation, without giving specifics. Nolan will also stop by my place at night when he can't sleep. This doesn't happen all that often, maybe twice a month. He'll text me or call me saying he's outside. I'll go sit with him and maybe smoke a little bit. Then he'll head home. I'll wait up until I know he got home safely. Then I go back to sleep. My fiancé hates this. She claims the phone calls always wake her up. They don't. She just sometimes happen to wake up for the bathroom while I'm outside, and that me not being in bed is alarming. This brings us to last night. Nolan stopped by, and when I came back inside, my fiancé said she was putting a stop to it. She said all the sneaking around is making her paranoid. She doesn't feel like she can properly trust me or be a part of my friend group without knowing the details. And that Nolan needs to stop relying on me so much. I told her that no matter whether we're married, dating, whatever, she will never have any ownership over my friend's trauma. And that she was never going to be able to order me around in regards to it. I also said her comfort was less important than someone's actual physical well-being. She was obviously hurt by this and went to stay with her mom after work today. AITA? Edit. She knows Nolan lost a parent. She doesn't know the aftermath beyond the statement he had a mental health crisis. Yes. He has specifically asked me not to tell her. Edit 2. This is not something we talk about constantly in front of her. I'm giving examples that have happened over the past year and a half. Also, Nolan sees a therapist. He comes to my place to hang out. Info. Please. Does he just drop by at other friends' homes? 2. If so, does he do it as often with them as he does with you? Do you know if it affects their relationships negatively? But because she's around me and my friends often as we live in the same house, I assume this is you and your fiancé living in the same house. Does he live with any of your friend group? Info. How long have you and your girlfriend been together? Does Nolan shut down all attempts for your girlfriend to get to know him? I guess I'm a little bit confused how your best friend seems to spend so little time with your girlfriend but so much time with you, and yet he still doesn't seem to know her or have grown more comfortable with her over the past year and a half for her to get more than vague non-committal answers from you. I also don't quite understand why you consider her a busybody just for being curious about what you do with your time or wanting to engage in a conversation that everyone is talking about and only she is excluded from. But because she's around me and my friends often as we live in the same house, she hears bits and pieces of the story and presses for more information. So why are you all talking about it constantly in front of someone who you claim isn't allowed to know? Also, why do you think that someone won't question why a random friend is showing up to their home in the middle of the night once or twice a month? Look, you're right. Your friend is entitled to his privacy, but this is spilling over into your fiancé's life where she has become a part of it too. It's almost like you have one foot in the door and another out. You really need to find a happy medium because you're getting married. Your fiancé honestly is going to need to be a bit more important than your friend. Op info. So she know Nolan lost a parent. Why don't you explain some so she understands why you are helping him? YTA It's one thing to want to respect your friend's privacy, but when you're so involved that he's just showing up to the house you share unannounced, your fiancé deserves to know why. Initial thoughts. Reread the above without any of the extra context you know about the situation. But imagine it's your fiancé asking if she is the AITA. Her partner's friend group keeps dropping conversation when she enters the room. They use a code to refer to a situation. A friend keeps coming over at random hours due to some issues and her partner won't talk to her about it. I think the AITA group would support her to a fair degree. I'm sure there is a lot of context not covered in the above that supports your point of view. But if my partner was deliberately excluding me from a situation and told me it's none of my business, I wouldn't be too happy about it either. Info. Have you told Nolan about your current situation? I.e., your fiancé can't handle the situation and is currently staying at her parents'. Did everyone miss the fact that this had been going on for a year and a half? The poor woman has probably felt like she was back in middle school with all the code talking and secret meetings. YTA. You're calling her a busybody. Your best friend is going through something so awful that you are saying it's the most important thing in your life now also. But you are acting like she's some creeper or something about it, when she is acting like a normal human being. It's taking over your life now too. That affects her. You are completely shutting her out. And in an over-the-top way. You and your friends stop talking when she walks in. Seem to think it's crazy she asked how he's doing. This has seemingly gone on for the year and a half since his parent died. You say she won't have ownership over his trauma. What are you talking about? Do you even like her? Info. Did you ever explain the situation regarding his trauma and support needs in a broad strokes kind of way? Info. Have you explained anything to her about the Nolan situation? Maybe just the broad strokes? Info. How many hours a week would you say you spend on the Nolan situation? How much time have you spent in the past year? Have you frequently canceled plans with, or otherwise stopped an activity with your fiancé to support Nolan or discuss the situation with other friends? My guess is she would care much less if this wasn't having some kind of significant impact on your lives as a couple. YTA. You want to marry this woman but you are choosing to put your friend above your relationship. You are actively excluding her. You and your friends talk in code around her. You leave the room to take phone calls. And you slip out in the middle of the night. She is reasonable to be annoyed. This situation with your friend is all around her and negatively impacting her. But she isn't allowed to be a part of it. Your friend doesn't need to share his personal situation. That's his choice. But as a result, you are making a choice to put your friend above your future wife. She may be making a choice soon too, to find a partner who trusts her and puts her first. Can I ask Nolan's sexual orientation and yours? Is he gay, bi? Are you bi? So to be clear, you gave more information to internet strangers to determine whether you're the ass than you did to your fiancé? BCS knowing that information is important to being able to make a judgment. YTA. I'd have said ESH if it didn't seem like this was something causing a real issue in your relationship that could be easily addressed by giving her a little more information. Info. Do the other people in this friends group have this issue with their partners? Do any of the other partners worry or ask questions about it? Or just yours? Here's the thing, man. Your fiancé is going to be the most important person in your life. Your partner. And while it's true that it's up to Nolan what he shares and whom he shares it with, it does sound like you're cutting her out of the situation to a degree that is problematic. You are not your friend's therapist. There is no doctor-patient privilege. This is not a job, nor is it classified information. If my so was frequently getting up late at night because a non-mutual friend needed the equivalent of being tucked into bed multiple times a month, it would eventually begin to bother me if I was not in the loop. ESH. Less than judgment changed. See edit. Your fiancé is being overly pushy. Your friend is using you as a stand-in for additional therapy and causing your relationship to have issues because he does not trust your partner, but is fine with demanding your time. And you suck because you're trying to dictate how she feels or reacts. I'm not waking her up. She's just saying that. Edit. Upon further response, Op has stated that Nolan's late-night visits are not causing him a problem, which is pretty telling, because it means he really doesn't care how his fiancée feels about this situation and or how it is impacting their relationship. Op. YTA. This is your fiancé, someone you're wanting to spend the rest of your life with. How can she trust that you're not doing anything like, say, cheating, when you are barely telling her anything? Him showing up unannounced, in my mind, is probably a little unsettling and rude to her. It's her space too. I get that he's private, but he needs to consider the fact that your fiancé is a regular, constant part of your life, and not knowing much, if anything, probably makes her feel pretty bad, especially if he reacts bad to her simply asking if he's okay. Like, put yourself in her shoes. Can't you imagine the hurt she probably feels? It probably isn't your intention to deceive her, but right now that's what you are doing. Also, you saying that her comfort is lower than his physical well-being? Damn, you said you have a friend group, right? Does the whole showing up at night to talk and have a smoke with them too? I honestly wouldn't blame your fiancé for leaving, whether it's only for a short time or for forever. You're placing her second to your best friend, that while yes, has trauma, but also has other people. He has other friends. You only have one fiancé. Info. Can you share your age? Your uncompromising loyalty to your friend is admirable, but it does sound like you may be a bit inexperienced. One thing almost all successful marriages have in common is a willingness to compromise. You can't behave the way you've been behaving and expect your soon-to-be wife to continuously roll over. I hope for both your sakes you choose to learn from your judgment in this thread. This doesn't happen all that often, maybe twice a month. This is a lot. I can't imagine my husband being so secretive about something like this for 18+ months and not getting suspicious. No matter how much I trust him, it might be worth it for you to get some counseling of your own to figure out how to better support your friend without alienating your own loved ones. YTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.